Hello everyone, welcome to ChessWiser, your wise choice to improve your chess. In today's video, I am going to show you some of the best tricks and traps in Ponziani Opening. You can use these tricks and traps in fast games to win every opponent very quickly. And if you are new here, please check the other videos and playlists from the channel. If you like them, then consider subscribing to the channel and don't forget to press the bell icon to get the instant notifications for the future videos. So without any further delay, let's get started. So Ponziani opening is not so common. Meaning is that you can play it anytime when you have the white pieces. Because it arises after the common king pawn opening move orders like e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, and here black player would be expecting you to play like moves like bishop to c4, the Italian, bishop to b5, the royal uppers, or pawn to d for the Scotch game, or even knight c3, Vienna, or the 3 knights game or 4 knights game. But today here we are going to play pawn to c3, and this move does two things. One is it opens the diagonal for the queen, and other one is we are preparing pawn to d4 at one go. And in fact, this is the goal of every white's opening, to set up the ideal dual pawn in the center. And here black will not sit quiet and allow your ideas to be executed without any problem. So he will be creating, or he will be making some moves that will challenge our idea. So throughout this video we will be checking all these ideas along with the tricks and traps. The first and most logical move to continue here would be to play pawn to d5. From here white should not take the pawn, rather we are going to play queen to a4. When you play this move, your opponent will think that you are an absolute beginner, but he will be surprised soon for that thought. So after this, black will take the pawn. Again, white should not recapture the pawn with the queen, because if you take with the queen, then knight f6, black is already better. So we are going to take the other pawn with our knight, and also we are taking the advantage of the pin. So again, black will try to save everything with a queen to d5. And here comes our first trick. Here we can play knight takes c6, and this knight should be recaptured with the pawn, and which will create a long time weakness in black's camp. That's a doubled pawn on a c file and an isolated pawn on a a file, which will give a tremendous winning advantage in the end game. Instead of that, if queen takes the knight, then we are going to pin the queen with our bishop and win the game immediately. So after after b takes c6, I think this is the right move, and white can play bishop to c4, developing with the tempo. So queen goes to d6. After that, white can castle. So knight f6 by black. Here again you can trick black by pawn to d3, which gives up the pawn, but it will help us to play bishop to f4, a tactical move. Yes, because a queen cannot touch the bishop. If queen takes bishop, then bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, then we can win the queen and also the game. So if black knows this trick, then he may try queen to d7. In that case, we can play knight to d2, connecting the rooks. And if you look at this position carefully, our development is complete. The rooks are connected, and one of the rook is coming to e file to check the king, and also black has the severe positional damage which cannot defend in the endgame. So before we continue the remaining tricks and traps, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel and press the bell icon to get the instant notifications for the future videos. So let's check the other main move for black. After pawn to c3, black can play knight f6, which immediately attacks the e4 pawn. Here white can play pawn to d4, justifying the c3. Here again black has two responses. One is to defend the pawn with the d6, or take the other pawn with the knight. So let's check the first variation, pawn to d6. Here white can push with a d5, which kicks the knight around, and if the knight goes to the a file, then queen check will win the knight. So going back to the home square is not also good, because you are wasting tempo, or you are underdeveloping your knight. So black will try to play knight to e7. Here white can play this tricky move, that is bishop to g5, because this bishop to g5 move allows the knight to capture the e4 pawn. If black is greedy enough, but he will definitely capture the pawn, but it will run into the same queen check. Again we are going to win the knight. So that's it about the d6. So here instead of d6, black could try knight takes e4, that is taking the pawn directly. And here we are going to continue with our old plan, that is to play pawn to d5, kicking the knight to e7. And white can take the e5 pawn in the next move like this. We reached a critical position in the Ponziani opening, because black can go wrong from here onwards. And most of the black players here will be annoyed by this centralized knight. So naturally they will try to kick this knight with a d6, but that's a big blunder of the line, because we can give this simple check, that is bishop to b5 check, and nobody is going to black the check with the bishop. If bishop blacks the check, then we can simply win the queen like this. So going back, black could play c6. That is the only logical way to continue from here onwards. So you can simply capture that pawn, and again here black has two responses, but both the moves are not going to help him. So if pawn takes the knight, then we can go ahead and take the pawn and give this discovered check by the bishop. If now bishop to d7, then queen takes d7, queen takes d7, pawn takes the rook and getting the new queen. And it is also coming with a check, so the knight has to block the check. So after knight to c8, we can simply take that knight with a check. And please note that queen is pinned, that is a absolute pin, so he cannot recapture a queen. Once the king moves away, we can play queen takes queen, and again it is coming with a check, and the king is running for the life. After king f7, if you closely look at this position, and we reach the position which you saw in the thumbnail, so we have captured all the queen side pieces, and we are winning the game. And going back, another variation to consider, that is to play b takes c6. In that case, we are going to capture with the knight, so knight takes c6, getting ready to give this nasty discovery by the bishop. So queen b6 is forced. So after this, which is attacking the bishop, but we are going to give this discovery, but we are going to simply drop the knight to d4, because the knight is defending the bishop, and the bishop is giving the check to the king. Then if the bishop blacks, then you simply take the bishop. After the king recapture, now white can castle, and if you look at this position carefully, this is completely winning position for white. And going back, if not pawn to d6, if he knows that there are a lot of traps in the line, black can try knight to g6, which attacks our knight. And here again white can play this tricky move, that is bishop to d3, which is not only developing a piece, but also we are counter attacking the black's knight. And also we are tempting black to do this desperado tactical error. Why it is a tactical error, let me show you. Because after knight takes f2, black will think that king captures f2 is forced, because we are forking the, he is forking the queen and the rook. So we are not going to capture the piece, but we are going to play this stunning move, that is bishop takes g6. In this position, if black is greedy and takes the queen, then bishop takes f7 check, forcing the king to e7. Now the other bishop, so bishop to g5 check, after king to d6. After this, please note, you should not capture the queen, rather you can try to checkmate the this centralized or the naked king, because there is no defender around the king. So you can give this knight c4 check idea. After king to c5, again white can trick the with the knight ba3. Our idea is very simple. If black captures the bishop, then pawn to b4 is a fantastic checkmate by the pawn. If black knows this, again he may try the other options, like pawn to a5, stopping the mating net and getting ready to capture the piece. Here white can go ahead and capture the queen, so pawn to b5 by black. So we can play bishop takes c7. After b takes c4, rook can take the knight and win the game. And going back in this position, if black plays knight takes b2, then bishop to b3 is bishop to d3 is the another nice checkmate by the bishop. So hope you enjoyed this tricks and traps in Ponziani opening. Please like this video and don't forget to subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for the instant notifications for the future videos. So as usual, this is Chesswiser, your wise choice to improve your chess.